Hi, and what we're going to look at now is a way to chamber and rechamber the punches and kicks. So the starting position is from the stance you're using. When we chamber, there's a contraction of the elbow, the hinge is closed, and then we shoot out and pull it back so it goes from the flex position to the extended and then back to the flexed. It's the same thing with the kick. We drive up, creating that flexion in the knee, extend out, and bring it back to that chamber position. With the kicks, you're upright to begin with, flexion in the knee, and then extend the hip in after that initial flexion and bring back to the chambered position. So it's not so much leaning back to reach in. You can do that. If you're too close, you lean back. However, if you're far away, you bring it up in the flex position, push the hips forwards, so you're going from upright to shifting in. So an exercise you can do is to bring the knee up, shift the hips in, turn the standing foot, and bring it back so that soon becomes the full kick. This is useful if you want to do a double kick. For example, to do the double kick, you'll go from the hip in and then just bring the leg down when the hip's already in. What you don't want to do is go all the way back, because then that becomes 2 consecutive kicks. However, if you bring the knee up, kick in, keep the hip there, it then becomes easy to do that second. Follow up. It's the same thing with the punches. You're in this upright position, everything's contracted in, and then you extend like that, leaning in slightly to go off center. So the important key points with the punches, we keep a tightness, contraction at the elbows. This generates a lot of power in the shoulders and the upper body. It also protects you without you having to think. So if you just squeeze that, extending out, pulling back in, your hands are already in that position in order to block, rather than thinking punch and then I guard. If they just come back automatically, then everything happens naturally as it should. So it's not an artificial, robotic and tense position, rigid. It's not that. Everything's loose except this chambered position. And with the kicks, slightly different. We have to shift the hips in, upright, shift in, upright, shift in, the hips come back, extend in, and come back. Now I can't do that unless my standing foot rotates, facilitating that extra reach. If I do that, I can actually kick from a distance with full extension. So the key points for kicking are to remain tight on the chamber, squeezing here, lifting at the hip, and then extending out. 2 phases. Now as we get older, we tend to get less flexible in the joints. So it's a good idea to practice fully bending the hips, fully extending the hips, fully contracting, flexing the knees and elbows. It's a useful exercise to do to flex the entire legs through their full range is to do a feet together squat, reaching into the air, stretching, and just sinking down as far as you can go. Keeping that upper body elevated, sinking down, keeping buoyant and lifted at the top.